Miramichi. Where am I? I don't know. How you doing?
Charlie, I'm out here for a walk, and who do I come upon but you?
Oh, yeah?
I thought you lived in Fredericton, or did you move to Miramichi now?
I escape once in a while, and you know.
So you came to God's country.
It is nice. It is nice, and the police don't seem to be bothering me here. Anyway, never mind that.
Well, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, I am a law-abiding citizen. But anyway, that's another story. Speaking of law-abiding, do you know what church that is there? That's nice, huh?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful spot. Okay, so you had a little news conference this morning.
Yes, we did, Charlie.
What was that all about?
That was the Adopt a Highway program that we're reinstating. It's a provincial program that helps beautify our province, and any non-profit organizations or volunteer groups or even businesses that want to adopt a section of highway to help keep our province clean and beautiful, then the program's there for them. It's no cost to them. It's completely free. The Department of Transportation and Infrastructure will provide safety vests, gloves, garbage bags, and actually will install a sign on the highway where the group adopts that section to give them some credit and some recognition for the great offer that they provide of helping to keep our highways clean.
Do you get that in every city?
Well, it's for provincial highways, so any provincial road in the province is available and up for adoption. Today we announced the provincial program in Miramichi. We actually had the Point Church be the very first one to take part in the new program, and they signed up to look after a 4 or 5 kilometer section of roadway from the Anderson Bridge to the roundabout. And we had the Town Auto Group also volunteer to take another section, and Patty and Darcy, 2 local radio hosts, volunteered to take another section. So we're off to a great start here in the Miramichi, and we encourage other groups who are interested to reach out to their district transportation office in the region where they are, and we'd love to have everybody take part.
You have the community involved, and it's the community fighting, or the community together to clean our highways, right?
Well, that's right. It's a feel-good thing, and
feels good, right?
Brings pride in our community.
Adopt a highway.
Pride in our province.
Pride. Okay. How come we don't have adopt a covered bridge?
Adopt a covered bridge.
Yeah. We have adopt a highway. How come we don't have adopt a covered bridge?
Well, Charlie, maybe that's something we could look at. You know, we have 58 covered bridges left in our province.
How many?
58.
Okay, how many we lost last 2 years?
Why you asking?
Okay, we lost the one. What?
Are you trying to say something because I've been the minister for 2 years?
Oh, no. Okay, 5 years, 6 years. No, what I'm getting at is French Village. We lost that one. Then we lost the one in Hoyt. And then St. Martin, did we lose that one?
No, we never lost the bridge in St. Martin. The bridge had to be restricted for weight because of the condition. You know, these bridges, Charlie, that you're talking about, these covered bridges, they're beautiful historic pieces, but many of them are over 100 years old. Many years over 100. And you know, a lot of them need a lot of work. We've put a strategy in place. We're working with the Department of Tourism, Heritage and Culture. I would say that the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure's #1 priority is the safety of the people traveling public, and to provide key transportation links. But we also recognize the heritage value of these bridges, and that's why we're putting a strategy together to preserve as many of them as we can.
Okay, a bridge is destroyed, right, by the floods. How come we can't rebuild it?
Well, I don't know which bridge you're talking about.
Well, let's talk the one in Hoyt. Okay, destroyed by the flood, and any covered bridge. Okay, no problem. How come we can't rebuild it?
Well, I'll tell you, the bridge that got washed out in the flood in Hoyt, severely damaged, isolated a number of families on the other side. The only way out for those people in the winter was in through a old woods road, which would have taken them an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to get out, and you would need a 4-wheel drive. So it was an emergency situation to restore that transportation link as quickly as possible. I went on site. I actually went door to door in that area It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get in with a 4-wheel drive to visit those residents to assure them
I remember that,
we're going to get their transportation link restored as quickly as possible. The quickest, most efficient way to get that done was to put a Bailey bridge in, which we did. Residents there were very thankful to have that transportation link restored fairly quickly, and I give kudos to our workers at the Department of Transportation who worked day and night to get that.
Just like in Hillsborough. It wasn't a covered bridge there, but I mean...
No, it was a culvert that washed out. Yeah,
exactly.
So, I mean, we have a responsibility to restore those transportation links, and I can tell you, the people that live on the other side of where the Bell Bridge, I think it was called the Bell Bridge in Hoyt, used to be, are very thankful to have a good, reliable bridge there. And for many of them, they couldn't have deliveries of large materials and stuff because that bridge was always restricted weight-wise, and now it's not.
No, that's what I'm getting at. We're having the Conservatives signed a big forestry deal. Lots of wood. How come we can't build a wooden bridge beside where the bridge is now? Why every time we see a covered bridge that's being destroyed, how come we can't rebuild it?
Well, first of all, Charlie, there's a myth about the wood. The wood that's in the province of New Brunswick that's growing here is not the type of wood that you would use to build those type of structures. You would need a different type of wood that would come from out west.
Is it?
That's right. That's what my engineers have told me. There's a myth that you can build it from the trees that are here, but they're not strong enough, the trees that are here, to build those types of bridges. We need stronger wood than the trees that are in New Brunswick. So that's a myth that many people have said, well, let's use our woods to build covered bridges. I rely on, I'm not an engineer, first off, I say that all the time. I rely on the advice of the experts in my department, and I take their advice seriously. And we have 3,200 bridges and large culverts in our province. That's a significant amount. So to say that we're going to build a covered bridge everywhere there was one, I can't say that. That's not something that I think we can afford to do. However, we're doing everything we can to preserve the bridges that we have in stock now. We have 58, and we're doing everything, including the St. Martin's. We made a commitment to that community when that bridge had to be weight restricted, and that's a key transportation link to the Fundy Trail Parkway. And many cruise ships that come into St. John, that's one of the tours where the tour buses come and take people. So we cannot afford to have that transportation link interrupted, especially during the summer tourism season. So we installed a modern structure beside the covered bridge, and we're working on a long-term fix to restore or to replace the bridge in St. Martin's with another one that is a replica of what's there now. We've had full consultation with the mayor and council. I've met with them on a couple of occasions. My department has had regular communication with them, and we're working on the long-term fix for that now. But the most important thing about that region is we have another bridge in place beside the covered bridge to ensure that the traffic can still flow and all the tourists that are going into the Fundy Trail Parkway, that's not interrupted.
I'm letting you talk, but that's okay. We just want the details. So you're trying to tell me when the covered bridge is damaged, that's not an excuse to say, oh, okay, so we could have these big log trucks from Mr. Irving to really build a bridge that they could go over no problem. We really, really care about the covered bridge.
We do, and I think we've proven that time and time again, because we've had several bridges that we've gone in and we've done the work on them to get them reopened and to make sure they continue to serve those communities. Unfortunately, with the couple of examples that you raised, the damage was way too much to be able to repair the bridge. In terms of French Village, that bridge, I went down and met with the community. We had a public meeting and we gave them some choices. We could restore the transportation link fairly quickly by putting a new bridge, or we could take the time that we would need to restore the French Village Bridge, and the community voted to take the time and get it done with the existing covered bridge. Unfortunately, when we went in to do the work, we found the damage was so extensive that it was going to take a lot more money and a lot more time. So we had another public meeting, we explained the situation to the people in that region, and overwhelmingly the people that came to that meeting said to me very clearly they wanted their transportation link back. We hated to take that bridge out, and we preserved as much of that structure as we could, and Department of Heritage branch is working with the community now to find a way to commemorate the bridge that once stood there. But the key thing is there is a transportation link that's been restored. It caused a huge inconvenience for people that live there. Many people told me that it was costing them a lot of money for gas because of the large detour. People were having trouble to get to school because of the long detour and to get to medical appointments, and we had to get that transportation link restored, and that's what we did.
So it would be like if there's a bridge that's destroyed, we don't have to, it's not like the pyramids that was built 10,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago. We could go with UNB archives and get the drawing how to build a wooden bridge, a covered bridge, can we?
Well, again, I follow the advice of my engineers in my department. They're the experts in design and engineering, not me. I'm not an engineer, Charlie. So I rely on the advice that I get from my department.
So how would those trees come from? Are you serious? The trees came from out west?
Well, I'm told that any of the wood structures that we have in the province, that the wood that is used to build those structures and to do repairs on those structures is brought in from BC and some of those provinces
BC,
where the trees are bigger and more strong.
So do you think it's time for us to go back to BC and get ready for the next covered bridge that's going to be destroyed by the floods?
Well, Charlie, we can never predict what's going to happen in the future with the weather, and we're seeing more severe weather events. And when we're building our road infrastructure now, or we're doing new culverts and stuff, we're building them, bigger and stronger to combat the climate change that we're seeing here in the province. We just seen major floods here just in the last few months in Majorville area and down in the St. John, all along the St. John River. Floods that we've never seen before, and a lot of damage. So, we have to prepare for the future.
I know a covered bridge in Gayton, Memron Cook. I know one in Canal in Charlotte County. So should the people in those areas that have a covered bridge, should they adopt their covered bridge and put some 2x4s once in a while here and there?
Well, Charlie, I think, as I said at the onset here, we understand the heritage value of these bridges, and that's why we're doing full inspections on them, and we're doing repairs where necessary so that we can preserve those bridges.
So we're going to adopt.
But again, Charlie, we need to preserve those heritage structures as much as we can, but the number one priority of DTI is the safety of the traveling public. So we have to make sure that those bridges are safe, number one, and we have to make sure they provide the key transportation links that they once used to provide.
And it's not transportation link for Irving lug trucks.
Charlie, it's transportation links for everybody that lives in those areas and people that have to travel to those areas, right? We need to make sure public are safe when they're traveling on those bridges. In terms of when those bridges were built, many of them over 100 years ago, they weren't built for the traffic of today. They were built for horse and buggy. So, the traffic that's going over some of those bridges is much different than the traffic that you seen 100 years ago. And that's why many of those bridges are weight restricted, right? So that causes challenges.
The excavator that went through, what do you call it? That machine that went through the covered bridge.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weight there.
Well, absolutely. So, that's why I said, Charlie, we're doing a review of all of our bridges. We've reviewed about 12 so far. And I would say that most of those 12, if not all, we found issues with, and we've had to go in and do some work, and we're continuing to work on them. And in the coming next 2 to 3 years, we'll be inspecting the remainder of our covered bridge inventory. And when I say inspecting, I mean a full, thorough inspection. Obviously, they're inspected more often than that because all of our structures are, to make sure they're safe, but we do a full, thorough, in-depth analysis of each of them. And that's part of our strategy over the next couple of years to understand exactly what needs to be done on all of these covered bridges that are left.
We known each other for a long time. You're a pretty smart guy at times.
I don't know about that, Charlie. I'm here with you today.
Exactly. How many people do you think are still watching this video? 13 minutes.
I think we're probably near the bottom of the barrel now, Charlie. Usually after a couple of minutes, that's about it.